Yeah. Okay, so I just came and picked up my from AB Freight, my super splitter, and this is how it comes in and shipped on a big pallet. The wheels, there's some assembly here, but they shipped it up pretty nice. Smaller than I thought. I got a crew cab full-size bed, and it fit in there okay. I had to take my tonneau cover off. So, not much to look at right now, but that's how it comes packed. So now the next shot will be trying to get this sucker out of my truck. Weighs like 400 or 500 pounds, in between 4 and 5. So we'll see. This is the Super Split HD with the electric motor, 110 electric motor. Okay, just got home with my Super Split HD. Put my ramp up. Got that ramp at Discount Ramps. Anyone cares. Pretty good ramp. It's lightweight and it's solid. So now I'm waiting for a couple buddies to come over to figure out how we're gonna unpack this thing. Total novice, so whoever watches this video will know. Looks like there's a T-bar up there. Might just assemble it here, maybe even assemble it on the truck. It's strapped in pretty good. Doesn't look like any damage. They pack it up really nice. I read somewhere that there's Alright, got my ramp in now. I'm back home. Got the ramp at Discount Ramps. It's nice and solid. Snugs up to the tailgate. But this is a super splitter again in the truck. Super Splitter HD. I'm excited. So I wanted to do these videos because there's not much online as far as how they get shipped, how they get packed. They essentially rolled this on with a high-low, slid it up, and again I got a GMC Sierra. It's a crew cab with a standard bed, full-size bed, not the short bed. So if you got a crew cab or a extended cab, I think that bed would hold it. Alright, we'll got it all packed up really nice too. I just wanted to show that. It comes sealed up. There's a box on the end there. So I'm waiting for a couple buddies to come over and help me move this thing. It weighs like 500 pounds. So the next video, hopefully we'll have it off with a dolly or something. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Notice there's a little bit of damage shipping. I don't know if it's going to do anything to it when I get those in. That looks like it got pushed in there. And then top here, this strap's kind of cut into the box. It looks like maybe there's a separation there. I don't think there's any damage though. These metal straps are going to have to be cut. Everything else looks good so far. Looks like there's a little bit of scrapage up top here. Paint peeling. Okay, I used a set of tin snips I got at a garage sale for $1. He marked it too. I said one. Snipped all these off, and I took the top piece off that was sticking on top there. It's right here. It's pretty substantial, pretty heavy. They got 2 screws in there into the wood that I'll have to take out, and the wheels just came rolling right off. This was sort of like wedged in there. You saw where the strapping had pinched in there, so this just came out really easy. And then I cut open the box with a razor knife, and there's a Super Split packed in there real nice. And there's the motor. That's my electric motor. It's 110 volt. I chose that because it's easy to plug in. And that's the bar. I wasn't too happy with this. Looks like just away from forging it, maybe. That's gonna get all jacked up anyway with splitting wood. But everything's intact. One big solid piece. The table is, I did get the table option, and that's on the bottom. So I'm just gonna go up piecemeal, bit by bit, and lighten the load. Hopefully when my buddies get here, maybe I'll get it all out myself. I am 46 years old, so, and wimpy, have an office job. So the splitting wood keeps me young. I'm excited. Can't wait to try this thing. Alright, next step, I'm gonna get that motor out and see what's in there. Take another video. Overkill, but I'm wanting to show piece by piece. That box is actually strapped into the metal strap. I'll have to cut that. I just took off the cardboard sides, and there she is. Again, this is the HD. There's a little safety thing there. I don't know if you can read it. For all those that always wondered what's on there. Just some instructions, it looks like. Do not cut your hand off while operating. Be very careful with these machines. Doesn't say HD anywhere on it, just says Super Split that I noticed so far. I'm hoping it's the HD model. And I paid for the HD model, but it doesn't say HD anywhere on it, so that's probably why in the other videos you can't tell if they're HD or not. Alright, onto the box. I'm going to unsnap that and cut it and dig into that box and see what that looks like. Got the box out, and big box, big huge box. All that cardboard was stuffed in there. I'm surprised for how small the motor is. The box is pretty heavy. It probably weighs about 40 pounds, maybe 45. So that motor is pretty heavy. Okay, so I got the motor out of the box. Let's get your on-off switch right there. Again, it was very heavy. It weighs a good 40 pounds, 45 pounds, and the tight packing in the box, it was hard to get out by myself. Needed someone. It's a Marathon electric motor. There's no specs, you know, you can't find anything on these things, on these Super Splits, but it's a Marathon motor. I hope you can read that. Let me try and get a little closer. Looks kind of garbled. There we go. It looks like it's 1.5 horsepower, which is the the HD model motor. 110 volt or 115 volt, 110 volt. 1725 RPM. So that means it spins those flywheels at 1725 or close to it RPM. That was another fact that no one really could pin down. Doesn't have the amp rating here. It's got the specs for the wires. Get this out of the way. Okay, I hope that was long enough for everyone to read it. If not, you can pause the video. Alright, there's the flywheel. With this box, back into the motor for breathing. I'm assuming it's okay to leave this outside if it gets wet. I didn't think about the water until looks like it's going to rain right now, so I brought it inside. But within the same box came these hoses, and looks like some lag bolts. And these screws right here, which are medium yellow, zinc, some kind of bolts. But I did notice, you know, they pride themselves, and rightly so, being American made. But these bolts, contents may be from any of those countries. The last one is USA, so we'll give it to them for that. It's just one little tiny box of screws, and which could or could not be coming from the USA. But in that packing material, all those boxes that, those slices of boxes that were in here, I did see some addresses. I'm not going to show them, but there were some addresses there, and everybody that supplied parts to this company was from the USA. The clutch assembly, everything else. I won't go into details on that. So now, here's what's left. Looks like I might be able to get this piece out next. That's what I'm going to go for. And then when my buddy comes, we'll pick the whole unit up. And hopefully the table will stay. We can do it in 3 stages. Still got to bust out the box. It looks like it's bolted right to the frame there. And right there. So I'll have to get out a wrench. So far it's been a pair of tin snips and a razor knife. Tools required to unpack. Now it looks like a wrench. I'll let you know what kind of wrench is needed. Okay, first snag. Got that screw off right there. There's a bolt in between there. I keep unscrewing it from the bottom here, and it ain't going anywhere. So I'm going to have someone help me lift it off. But we ran into a little snag. So that was a 7/16" wrench. I used this ratchet, and there was another one right there I took off. And that too has to be lifted off, and there's one right there which I can't get to because of this. So I need to take that screw right there off. Problem is that screw on the other side is bent. I don't know if you can see it. See the screw bent over? Right there. So I can't get that screw out, so I think I'm just going to rip this thing off. Otherwise, the screw down here into the wood, I can't get to as well. Same thing with that screw down there. So my little Ryobi and my screwdriver are useless. I can't even get my hand in there to unscrew that. So I think I'm going to do a little demolition. Maybe take out a little saw, cut this thing out. Probably doing it all wrong. I did notice there's a packet of probably instructions. So I'm probably going to read those next. Right here. These were in the box with the, almost from away. These were with the motor. So I'm going to dig into these, see if they have any tips or tricks. But that's a bad design there, Paul. Get that screw. Make that screw shorter or cut it off or something. Put a bolt on there. Probably got damaged in shipping. Just a little bit too long. But I'll tell you what, guys, I'm so stoked having this thing. Of course, my buddy hasn't arrived yet. Oh yeah, I'll help you. I know he's going to be helping me split wood. Everyone wants to use this thing. Okay, what was in there was the Super Split Owner's Manual. Looks like some paperwork on the electrical that I'll have to read through. Luckily, my buddy, who I keep referring to, is supposed to show up. He is a licensed electrician. And he said, get the electric motor. So that's what I did. Super Split Owner's Manual. Hope I'm not doing anything illegal here by showing this. So this is just the specifications. One 1.5 horsepower electric. That's what I got. HD. Nice. Alright, I'm going to read through this. Doesn't look like there's going to be any unpacking. It's more about operating, suggested uses of the splitter, what not to do. That looks pretty bad. Trying to wrench it right through the crotch. Yeah, that's not a good idea. Okay, here's the specs, boy. Top secret. This is the part I need to get. That's for a hitch. It's like $80 extra. I didn't get it. I thought maybe I could fabricate something. I may put a wheel down in the bottom here too. So there's all the specs. I'll probably need that, at least some of it. All the maintenance items. Troubleshooting, it's always helpful. And more maintenance. Wedge replacement. Hope I don't have to do that. Here's the warranty. Yeah, buddy. Super Split. Cool advertisement. Burt Drive. Can't wait. Alright, here's some assembly instructions too for the actual thing. So it says there are tools needed. Wrench and sockets. Looks like I'll need a 3/8, 1/2 inch, 9/16, and a 3/4. Some snips, pliers, lifting slings. That's a good idea. Okay, I did everything so far in the order. Uncrank and lift. So there's a little bit involved. First I gotta get it out of the damn truck. Damn buddy. Install production table, install engine. So there's a little bit of work here, but I'm sure it'll all be worth it. Okay, making progress. Took out a couple bolts here. Took those two out. They're spinning in this board inside of here, so I imagine just take a hammer and whack them out. But those were 9/16, or those were 7/16 here and here. This one was 9/16. I've got 2 more to go. One there and one there. Can't see right there. There's a bolt underneath, so it's a little tight quarters, and that should separate the table from underneath here. And I'm hoping me and my buddy can get on that end. I can get on this end. We can just lift this pig right off. That's probably the heaviest part too. So, of course, buddy's still not here yet. Alright, so got those bolts off. Those bolts, they were mounted on there pretty good. You really had to have a big wrench to get them off. But as soon as I popped those off, they came off. These are still stuck in here. I don't know if I'm going to need those or not. One bolt over here that was in the center, right here, is still there too. There was a nut there. I took that nut off on top of it. But this one, in looking at it, it looks like it's a little torqued. So I'm hopeful I don't need this for the table or something, this bolt here for the table. There was some other screws in there. But this is loose. Can't get it off without lifting this up. This is obviously is the heavy end, but I can lift it. I just need my buddy to show up and lift it up and get it out. And the little one's here. Hi. Okay, I decided to read the instructions. Got a little ahead of myself. I was supposed to take this cowling off first. You take basically this sits on there. You take that nut off right there, and you lift this up. And then you loosen up these 4 nuts. This says it's a nut, but these are screws on that side. Now to take them off, just loosen them, and then take this off before you do what I did, which is unbolt it from everything. So this is supposed to come off first. So there's the instructions. I don't know if you can see them or not. Anyway, that's the next step. Alright, got the cowling off.
Is this a valuable piece?
These are the flywheels. Put that back on. We got the wheels on. Yeah, and my labor just showed up. So now it's supposed to have a 1,000-pound lifting mechanism to lift this up. Well, 2 guys.
What is it?
It says a lifting device capable of lifting 1,000 pounds. And I'm thinking, well, that's me and you. The table's got to weigh a good 100, 200 pounds. So anyway, she's ready to go. Next step is lifting per the instructions. We got the wheels on. Those are pretty straightforward. Washer on each side. We put the... You gotta make sure you got the air nozzles on the outside. There's grease fittings. You gotta put those on the inside. There's the grease fitting. Keep her lubed up. So we're good. And those just washer on each side and a cotter pin. You gotta bend those down still. Okay. So we got it off the table, and essentially we rolled it. We didn't have the 1,000-pound lifting device, so we just lifted it off the table. And then we rolled it down off of this onto the ramp and just rolled it down. And then we stood it up on that, on end. And he was holding it here and stood it straight up. And while he stood it straight up, I put the wheels on each one of those tubs. And then we bolted it on with 4 bolts there. 2 and 2. And now it's staying pretty good. So now we got it, the table. We got to unsnap that. And this I-beam, and then we put the cowling on and a motor, and we're splitting. That was the hard part, getting that sucker off. But it rolled off there pretty good. Once you get it free, you just lift it up off this table, because the wheels were kind of sitting right here, and just rolled it down. I used my hands and held the wheels as like brakes, and he had this end, and we just slowly rolled it down. And as soon as we got it close, we lifted right onto that piece of wood and spun it around, and then we had it straight up vertical while I mounted that. What helped severely is those 2 totes. I lifted this thing up. We put both totes underneath the wheels, underneath each wheel. That allowed, while this thing was vertical, that allowed for this to line up perfectly with those, and we just slid it on and just bolted it down. Alright, next step will be in a minute. Hired hand came in through.
This hired hand?
That one right there. We got Got her on there. There's a couple bolts right there. You got to make sure you use the long, save the 4 longer ones we goofed up. That's a shorter bolt. 1.25 inches over here.
1.25 inches in the front, 1.5 inches in the back.
1.5 inches on these here, because they have a little table to go through and mount the actual leg. So we had to take them off of these back here, one by one, to get it set. But I'll tell you what, these little totes saved our neck. We got them full of firewood, so they held up, and we just balanced it. We dropped it down on the totes, mounted the bolts, and hand tight, and then dropped it down, and now he's tightening them up. So now I just got to put this on. We got to mount the motor. That's next. Almost there. Almost there. Got a little wood pile already. So that's one square face cord. I'm a little shy for the rest, but I got a little bit over there too. So once this thing gets kicking, whole new ball game. No more splitting by hand. No more splitting with a slow. We got an old school hydraulic splitter. Did all this and did all that, and he has the other half of all that. So we got about 2 cords each, 2 full cords, maybe 1.5 cords each. We're gonna get about 10-20 out of this thing. No problem. All right, got the motor on. The hard part was this little piece here. You got to loosen this up. It's still loose. You basically got to tip the whole motor at a 45-degree angle, like this. Two-man job. And then rotate this up and kind of wiggle it in. That was really difficult. Once we got that in there, they give you a mounting bracket. The bolts just slide up and they screw into the center here. And we just hand tighten them. And then you put your belt on and you just spin the wheel and sort of feed it onto the flywheel. Now everything's just hand tightened right now. He's just going around snugging up the legs. But we're in business here. You tighten this up here, and that'll put pressure on this pulley. And then once you get enough pressure on this pulley, it's actually pretty good, we're going to tighten it a little bit. Then you come back here and you do your final tightening here. Screw this in and tighten it up here. And then you put your cowling back on. This just lifts up. There's a nut and bolt right over there. Here. And then these are for the side thing. I'll show you once it's all put back together. But we're rocking and rolling. Engine's on. One thing I noticed, or he noticed, is when the cowling's on, this on and off switch is going to be awful tight to where that cowling is. Maybe that's by design so you don't hit it while you're working.
We may have to improvise with that.
Yeah. You would think that's on there good too. So we'll see if that works out okay.
We know an electrician that can probably take care of it.
I do know an electrician. So big 90-pounders. Trust me, they are 90 pounds. This thing is heavy. You do not want to. I think if you had a like an engine hoist, things would have been a lot easier. We got to tighten it up first, and then we'll put the.
Looking for the alignment to see where that's going to end up. We should be able to reach it.
Yeah, I think that might be by design, so you don't click it off mid-cycle.
If you put this towards that, you're going to be. That's
going
to be into
dangerous.
The moving parts.
You definitely want to have that cowling on when you're operating this thing. So, alright, we're going to tension it up and we'll start splitting. My handy dandy repairman told me to make sure I get a picture of the belt. It's an A71 belt, 71-inch belt, and we just snugged this bolt up and it pulled, and now this thing's good and tight. We didn't want it too tight, but that's pretty snug. You think that's too snug? It'll probably stretch a little bit. So, but if you need to adjust it, you can adjust it without taking things off. Now we got the belt cover. We're gonna put that on, put the cowling back on, and we're done. She's done, and just in time. It's storming. It's coming in. So I'm gonna tarp it off. We didn't plug it in yet. I don't know where Dave went to. We'll get the cover back on that. So we're gonna fire it up, plugged into the house here. I might as well fire it up. To finish, me putting around about 4 hours. Here's the man that helped me hook it up. So we're ready to go. She's plugged in. She's plugged in at the wall?
Yep, yep.
All right, inaugural. Back up. Clear. Ooh. Listen to that. Hey, I can actually talk to you and split wood at the same time. And I got neighbors. No one's going to be complaining. Sound carries on the water. All right, here you go. Give me a video. First split. First split.
Hang on, you want the boat in the background?
Oh, we didn't tighten down this nut. You got one nut to go.
Nine 16ths.
Tighten down the last bolt. And this one's the tough one. They make it so it doesn't come off.
Always is.
Yeah. Probably should turn this off when you're doing this. No hoodies, no strings coming off your shirt. Nothing that could get snagged in those 5-0s because they can take your freaking neck off.
Oh boy, in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Little play there. I don't know how tight this is supposed to be. But this is the assembly. The final assembly. So, man, I've been wanting this thing for 6 months now. Feels like it's pretty good. Let's do a tester. Nice. Give it a whirl.
Backing up.
So most of the stuff's already split, but we don't have any fresh wood, so we're gonna give it a whirl. Ridiculous. What is this? Cherry?
Cherry. Yep.
Ridiculous. We'll make some kindling wood. Make something substantial, you know. You can feel that kickback. Can we give it a roll? That thing kicks back. Give it a whirl. Give it a whirl.
All in all?
Yeah. Super split. We're probably supposed to grease it or something.
Probably.
I didn't finish reading the owner's manual.
We missed.
Yeah, ridiculous. All right, it's gonna start raining. We gotta cover this baby up.